Right, well, now that we've finished the project over there, that great big building, I started to do some work on my cars. I started cleaning the Mercedes, which was not an easy job because the back of it was completely full of junk. Anyway, that's much better at the moment. I'm still working on it. But what I've got to do now is to have 3 tyres fitted to the Citroen Ami8. When I had it serviced last, I was advised that 3 of the tyres are not good. I expect they're pretty old. I mean, I haven't changed. I have changed some tyres on this car, but I'm not sure which now over the years. But the 2 back ones apparently, and the spare. So the spare is not really serviceable. So I've bought 3 new tyres for it, which I'm going to go hopefully soon and have fitted. Let's have a look. Right. Well, the treads aren't bad at all, but apparently the tyres are got cracks in them and one thing and another. I expect they're pretty old. Anyway, what I did was I decided to buy 3 new tyres, and I could have bought cheaper tyres. I mean, some of these on here I think are Toyos, but are Japanese, I guess, or whatever. But I bought 3 Michelins. They were a bit more expensive. Let's have a look anyway. I can take the car up there and put them in the car. Right. I just hope it starts. The battery is pretty low, and I haven't run it for about a week now. Oh, good. That's very good. It's hot in here. Funny old wipers on these cars. Oh shit. Dinky little things. I mean, they don't cover all the screen. You can see. There's only 1 speed, but they work. Anyway, let's into first. Let's go down and oops, pulling away like a racing car driver. Oops. I'm trying to change gear here and drive at the same time while I'm holding this camera. Okay, so this area down here is our next development project. Those sheds there are all coming down, and that will become a carport. And over here, all of this will be coming down, but that will be turned into a cottage with probably some more garaging space up there. And I've got a building up there which I'm going to develop. Anyway, let's get these tyres and put them in the car. Right, well, here's the 3 tyres. They always look lovely, new tyres, don't they, when you get them. Silly comment. Of course they're new, but they look good. There's something nice about new tyres. It's because they're new, I guess. Let's put them in there. Well, it's very hot today again. Not as hot as it has been, but cars get very hot inside, obviously. This car hasn't been cleaned yet, so it's still covered in dust and grime on the floor, which is stones in this one. An extended period of not being cared for. Perhaps you'd like to come along with me. Oh look, that mirror over there has been knocked, so I have to straighten that out. Well, if you want to come along to get the tyres changed, you better get ready. Right, well, I just adjusted that mirror, and adjusting a mirror without electric controls, you know, it's terrible. We are so used to mirrors now by adjusting them remotely by a little button. The old days here where you lean across out the window, turn it a bit, come back in, have a look, because you have to come back to the seat, and then you climb out again and adjust it a bit more, and come back to the seat, get comfortable in your driving position, and make sure that it. Well, and it's quite important, of course, obviously, when you're driving a left-hand drive vehicle, because that mirror is showing you what's alongside, not in the road, actually, not on the curb side, obviously. So that's quite an important mirror. Mind you, all mirrors are important, but that's quite important for driving a left-hand drive vehicle. Though, of course, this car has got excellent visibility. When you turn around, you've got great big windows everywhere. You haven't got all these big panels and obscurities that all the modern design cars give you. This car is may have this problem with the wipers, where they don't wipe all the window clean, but at least you've got glass all around you. So okay, I think we'll start thinking about going out and getting these tires fitted. Right, so here we are. We're going to get these tires fitted, but before I do, I don't know if you can give me a hand. We'll go to the bottle bank. This roundabout can be difficult at times, but this little car, hopefully, yeah, here we go. A lot of times with these old cars, it's quite good. People will let you in, but they probably feel sorry for you, really. Or else they're dumbstruck by the sight of this old car and somebody driving it. The fact that it's still going. This car is it's like driving a toy, really. It's very, very comfortable. A bit bouncy, but very comfortable. You have to be careful in first that you stop, because there's no synchromesh in first gear. Well, if there was, it doesn't work. But the performance is quite good, and it keeps up with traffic, really. But you've got to use the gears a lot. So we're going to do a diversion to the bottle bank before we get the tyres fitted. You go to the bottle bank and you get amazed at how many bottles of wine that you've been drinking. It's frightening, really. So I changed down to the second on this. Funny, I drive the Dodge around and drive that in top gear. And then when you drive this old car, I shouldn't say old, really. It's not as old as a Dodge, but this is a 1974, so it is getting on a bit now, I guess. What's that? It's over 40 years old, isn't it? Hear the bottles clinking in the back. They're getting ready for their trip to the bank. Turned into something else, I don't know what. More bottles, I guess. I suppose that's what they do with them. Right, you can give me a hand. You picked a bad spot to sit.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry about this. You'll feel bad. Am I waking you up? No, sorry.
No, she's just got in the post office.
I'll be as quick as I can, all right? Sorry. Right. I might have to come back. Right, well, I felt a bit embarrassed there because I'm putting all these bottles right next to this guy who's waiting for his wife. Very bit of an awkward place to park, really. Right, now I've got to post a letter. I suppose you're all comfortable there. You don't want to post it, so I'll have to do it. Right. Right, let's see how long it's going to take and how much it's going to cost to have 3 tyres fitted. I don't suppose they enjoy fitting tyres that you didn't buy at their garage, but still. Okay, here we go. Now I've got to remember where we're going. Oh yeah, I know. Right. Clean these windows sometime today, I think, as well. Once you get back into this car after you've been in another one, it's quite delightful to drive. Now we're in third at the moment and you'll run away with yourself because basically just tend to drive between second and third in the town. And top is a bit of a high gear for this car in the town. You're putting a lot of making the engine labour if you use top too much. But back into second, get around the roundabout. You don't need much pressure on the throttle, it's hardly touching it. If you do, it accelerates like a snail. Right, so do they look busy? No, not really. You may be lucky. You had to drive it all right, were you? Good, okay. The handbrake is on under the dash, yeah? So, they want to drive the car in themselves. Always worries me when somebody drives my little Citroen. I'm just going to prove how good he is now. Right, well done. Can I just show you, open the bonnet for you? Because the other spare is it. So that's the spare there. Okay, thank you. Okay. Got a nice new tyre. Lovely. Right, well, that was fairly painless, I suppose. That was £54 to fit the 3 tyres, well, I suppose. That's what it costs, but still, I can't do it myself. Right, so now that we've spent all that money, we'll just go off to buy some grocery shopping if you want to come along for a second. Which is just down the road from here. So we've got some snazzy new tyres on the back, that's good. Funny, a car always feels like it's you feel it's driving better, but it's really the same. You feel it's driving better because it's got these snazzy tyres on, and then after a couple of days you've forgotten about it. A lot of garages in this area, car garages. And but a lot of them have combined, because the Renault garage used to be just Renault. Now it does, I think, Subaru and a Mitsubishi and of course Citroen, because they're all combined now. Everyone's combining their sales, even if their manufacturing is different. All right, here we go. Oops. Oh, big queue. Oh dear. I'll sit here for a few minutes then. Right, so just my luck. I got stopped. You don't see this sort of thing much now. The old guy with a pole with stop and there was that joke in one of these video things where they do pranks. I think it's from Canada on the YouTube, and the guy was doing one of these boards. He didn't realise that on one side it's got stop or something, and the other side it's got I'm gay, and all the fellas kept blowing him kisses, and he couldn't understand why. Right, here we go. So this is an advert for Sainsbury's. Oh. So I'll tell you what we'll do. If you want to go in and get the shopping for me, if you don't mind, I'll drop you off down here, and I'll be parked somewhere up here. So you come out for a drive with me, and you've got to do some work in the end. It's a problem, isn't it? So if I drop you off here. Right, so I'll just stop here for a second, and I just point out a thing that's quite amazing for this car. well, I think it's amazing. For all the things that this car does not have, for an old French car, it's got lovely reclining seats. So down here, there's a lever, and the seats recline. It's a really nice mechanism. You know, that lever works really well. That's really good. Right. Okay. Right. I think we'll, if I can get this car into reverse, I think we'll get some petrol while we're here. Oh, no. What's going on here? You know, it felt funny. That guy drove it, and why I don't like anyone driving my car. You know, it's funny. You go there and you're getting 3 tyres fitted that you didn't buy. Fair enough. And they want to know the registration of the car. Well, that's fair enough. And your address. That's fair enough, because they give you a receipt, which is some sort of warranty, I suppose, on it, on the work they've done. But then they want to know your email address if you've got one, and your phone number. And I just wonder why. Well, what happens if you refuse? Would they still do business with you? Worth trying, maybe. So how am I going to get out of here? It's all right, he was there before. The tyre was sitting on the mechanism, and there's a strap that holds it, and he didn't do the strap up. He just bunged it in and left it. Right, well, this is the reason I was having a problem with changing gear. This spare wheel was put in, but he hasn't done it up, and the wheel was over here, and it was fouling this linkage. And this linkage is the mechanism that's being pushed with that goes in, that lever there, that arm there, goes into the cabin, and then when you turn and switch the gear, you're moving this gear stick here, which is basically the same as a gear stick in an ordinary car, where it's coming out of the floor just in front of you. It's quite ingenious, really, but if anything is foul in that, of course, it's not going to work. So let's just sort this out now. Right, so push this well in, and then we can put this little strap through there and hook it on like that. And that is quite good, really. It's very easy, but the fitter that fitted this wheel must have taken it out, and when he put it back, he just never bothered. Oh well, it's in now, so that should be all right. Right, well, the other little thing that I'm just going to do is, this is a real issue of non-neglect, or neglect, should I say, not non-neglect. This glass window slides, and the 2 back ones, they slide in this channel, and that channel is now full of crud and rust on both sides. So I'm just going to put some bit of grease in there. I must say that you learn something every day, and you know, most of the things I learn every day I learn from my wife. Now, I thought I had a lot of stuff. You know, when you look at all this stuff, you find things that are useful. But apparently, according to my wife, they're not. They're crap. So apparently I've got a lot of crap lying around. I didn't know that, but, you know, I hope anyone else has got a wife as good as mine, teaches them all these things. Whoops, look at that. There's some grease. I don't know whether that's going to be all right. Let's have a look. Oh, that does work better. Let's get a rag and wipe that a bit. You know, this is an Ami8, and the Ami6, which was the model before this, obviously, slightly smaller engine, had sliding windows like this in the front as well. Right, well, that's worked well. It's not a finished job, it's just a temporary fix for a few days till I get out here and really do some work on this car, but just to see that that really does slide well now. And also the lock on this one works, so this works like that. That's just a knob, that's a fixed knob on the glass, so you just pull the window back, and if you want to lock it, you turn this till it clicks. That's it. Now that's locked, so that window won't open. That's absolutely locked, and to unlock it, you just click it the other way and it works. I mean, it's pretty basic, but actually it's a good system. But yeah, the Ami6, which was before this one, had the same window arrangement in the front, and then they went to the wind-up windows, which is an improvement in one way, but it's not as basic. And the one thing about, you know, basic system, well, first of all, this takes up less weight because you've obviously got the winding mechanism now in the doors, just another extra bit of weight. But, you know, another thing to go wrong. Right, well, if you want a place to sit down and have a break and reflect on life, the back of a 47 Dodge is as good as any, I suppose, because it's quite a comfortable area, quite a very comfortable atmosphere actually in here, and it's still hot. I was going to try and talk on some of my videos about the whole question of classic cars, because that's really what I'm interested in. And when I mean classics, I mean older cars. The terminology classic cars has really been created now to cover, in the way I see it, all old cars. We used to have old cars. We don't really have many old cars now, because I think most cars are scrapped, it seems. You don't see old vehicles driving around like you used to. You know, a decade or so ago, it seemed that people bought old cars as an option and then ran them into the ground till they went wrong and wouldn't drive anymore, and then they just scrapped them and bought another old car. But those days are really gone now, because the legislation and the testing and everything has made it that you can't really drive an old car unless it's working well and in perfect condition almost, which it should be. But of course that is very costly, and possibly is not only more costly, but it's certainly a more bigger inconvenience to try and keep an older car going that you're going to use as a daily driver, than to just have a newish or a new car which you've either bought and then you trade in, you know, after a few years, or you've got on lease. And the way the electric cars are being pushed upon us, leasing is probably what's going to happen, I suspect, with most of them. So to have an older car, which you then invest a lot of time and money on, is not for everyone, and therefore they're becoming rarer. They don't make old cars anymore. Well, they make new ones that will be old, but they don't make any of the old ones. So they're becoming fewer and fewer, and obviously, you know, even with the best will in the world, a large number of them, or not, maybe not a large number, but a number of them are scrapped every year. So the amounts, because I think, you know, people have them, they get older, they're not maybe in a position to keep them up, or they die and the cars get left in a garage somewhere or a barn, or they get passed on to somebody who doesn't really appreciate them. And eventually not every car that's in pristine condition actually carries on that way. And that's why when you see these cars that are found and they're put on auction that have been, they're 40 or 50, 60 years old and they're in lovely condition, they haven't done many miles, that's really the reason that they're in good condition, because they haven't been used. So cars that are used, either abused or neglected. So there's the whole question of old cars, or classics, as I say, they're now called. But I think during the next couple of videos, I'm going to talk a bit about this. And there's a guy in America, in Ohio. He's a great guy because, I shouldn't say this, should I? He's English. And I've watched most of his videos, and he talks a lot about cars. He's got quite a few cars, and he talks about them extensively. He's very knowledgeable about them, and I would recommend anyone who likes listening to people talking about their cars to look up his channel and watch some of his videos. I'll leave a link in the description. His name's Darren, and he lives in Ohio. Nice chap, and he's English anyway, so I'm amazed, actually, and I've told him, I'm amazed that he lives in Ohio and he's got a very broad English regional accent, and he uses sort of British phrases and things, and I'm amazed that he managed to hang on to that. Also, another thing that this guy Darren has is that not all of his cars, but a number of his cars are rather ordinary. That's not a critical sound on a phrase or description of cars, but they're not exotics, let's put it that way. And I think that's something that I'm interested in America, because in Britain there's a lot of people who like rather mundane, average cars, sort of an old Ford Escort or an old Ford Cortina. Well, not so much the Cortinas, but because they're getting very popular, or they are popular. But cars that we would consider very ordinary in the UK, like Allegros and Maestros, some of the old Morrises, and they're really becoming sought after now. And I suppose the reason is that they've mostly been scrapped, and they're becoming rare. They're more rare than some of the exotic cars. Anyway, that's a topic for another video, I think. And but if anyone has any comments on this, I would be pleased to hear them, especially from America, because I'm interested in the classic car scene in America. And I know there's, different genres of cars, people who like sports cars and fast cars and all that business. But, me, I like ordinary cars, and you can't get much more ordinary than this Dodge for an American car. But yeah, look at it. It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, people in England look at this car inside now, and they think it's like a Rolls Royce inside. And it is. To me, it's beautiful. Anyway, I will say thank you very much for listening to this video if you've lasted this far, and then on the next one I'm going to try and talk a bit more about old cars or classics. So thanks again. Bye for now.